Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast. I'm Chaleigh, and tonight's episode is going to be a little bit of a controversial topic, talking about, is it still worth it to be a Hollywood actor? Very opinion-based, and it really depends on what you want your career to look like. And I think when you're little, and when you're young, and, you know nothing about nothing, all you see is what's on, especially now, what's on a screen. You don't think about other ways to be a performer and entertainer. You don't think that that's even possible. But whether you want to be or not, or that was ever a goal, or you just feel like, well, that's the only way you're possibly be an actor, that's not true. Over the years, I've come to understand and realize that there's many different ways, especially now, more than there ever was. And it's not a bad thing to ask. You don't have to be a Hollywood actor. That's not the only thing. It's interesting because over the years, I'm old enough to see the transformation, what Hollywood was and what it's become. You have to take your craft very, very seriously, and we should be the people that make a change, and there's all that pressure. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting to make an impact and wanting to, wanting to have a voice and wanting to help. There's nothing wrong in that. But at the end of the day, we're still entertainers. We're still performers. Our job is supposed to be making, the world laugh, cry, and think. That's our job. And we've kind of gotten lost a little bit on, everybody's too busy trying to showcase, well, we have to talk about the environment, we have to talk about this, we have to talk about that, and nobody looks like they're having fun. They're just they're creating stories, and then the stories just abruptly stop, which I thought was kind of interesting, especially on streaming services. They'll make productions about specific characters so that they can have a voice, but then the story isn't complete. So it's very weird, but I just get this overwhelming sense that nobody is having any fun in their work. No, everybody forgotten that. And it shows. It definitely shows. And it's kind of heartbreaking in its own. Because even when I was doing drama and doing these off-the-wall, very gothic characters, I was still having a lot of fun. And I was still, getting something out of that. And it was still captivating to watch. It was still interesting to watch. People were intrigued and curious about it. I definitely feel that. I do think also Hollywood is still reeling from last year's writer and actor strike. More and more watching shows, watching movies from a computer or from a phone. That was never, when I was growing up, that was not possible. You didn't do that. I laugh because we had the old school 80s. The aging boomers, the aging Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z. I refuse to believe that all of these generations just want to nonstop be bombarded with content that necessarily has a message in it. I still think that all those generations, even the ones that very, very deeply care about being entertained as well. Hollywood used to be awesome at this. It was wonderful at it. They were great at it. But somewhere along the way, it got lost, and we got concerned about hurting people's feelings and stuff. And I really hope that the performers coming up don't care anymore about who they are offending. That's out of our control. They're gonna feel what they're gonna feel. If something happened in their life and they're like, oh Lord, I can't talk about that, I don't want to hear it, but you can't. I remember right after the strike happened, all of a sudden, all over my feed on YouTube, there was all these very young, very idealistic, were saying, I'm quitting acting. I can't do this anymore. I feel like this is too exhausting, it's too taxing, it's too hard, and it's too financially difficult, and they don't want to pay us. Especially when you're first starting out. They don't pay you. And even if you're in the guild and you have that, yeah, you have that protection, but you don't have that when you're first starting out in your career. And trying to get into guild is that's a topic for another day. But I felt it was so heartbreaking watching all these young actors just be like, yeah, I think they won. They want AI more than they want us. Now, I don't always think that this isn't going to be a thing where you're going to know just by listening. I mean, I realize that. But it was a topic that I thought deserved to be, I wondered if anybody else went through this. Is it still worth it to be a Hollywood actor? Should I just go and make my own content? Should I just go see if there's an independent production company that has nothing to do with Hollywood, that has my creative vision? What kind of career do you actually want? And, is it worth it to still by all the rules, if you will? I don't know. So, I want to say, I believe in you. Knock 'em dead. Have a great night.